and welcome to our Bitesize live Q&A today. Today we are going to be chatting about global opportunities for those coming to study at the University of Glasgow. So my name is Emily and I am from External Relations, and I'm delighted today to be joined by our lovely panel of Mark, Caitlyn and Sam. And I just ask if you guys could start by maybe introducing yourselves, and we'll start off with Mark.
Thanks, Emily. My name's Mark. I'm the Senior Exchange Coordinator for the outgoing team within Global Opportunities at University of Glasgow. So I head up the team that deals with sending students out on exchange for full year and semester exchange.
That's great. Thank you so much, Mark. And we will maybe move on to Sam.
Hello, my name is Sam. I'm currently just finishing up my final year of accounting and finance, and I'm also a Global Opportunities intern at the university who had completed a semester abroad at the University of Hong Kong. So I'll be talking a bit about that, my experience.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Sam. And finally, Caitlyn.
Hi, I'm Caitlyn. I'm also in my fourth year studying business and management. I'm also a Global Opportunities intern, and last year I did a full year abroad to McGill University in Montreal.
That's great. Thank you so much. So that all sounds really exciting from our panelists there. So for those of you watching live, you can also submit questions through our live chat, which will remain open for the next 30 minutes. And our panel will do their best to answer any questions that you might have. I know that we have people tuning in from across the world today, so it would be great if you could let us know in the live chat where you're tuning in from, just so we sort of know where everyone's coming from. So without further ado, let's get started. So firstly, Mark, we'll come to you. So for those who are thinking of studying at the University of Glasgow and don't know much about studying abroad and what it involves, can you tell us what kind of opportunities are available at the university?
Yeah, definitely. So we're really proud at Glasgow of the kind of wide-ranging and exciting global opportunities that we offer. So through the Go Abroad programme, undergraduate students can apply to spend either a semester or a full year on exchange as part of their degree. So as an exchange student, you stay enrolled at the University of Glasgow, you study overseas and you earn credits that count towards your degree. So it's a really fantastic way to kind of broaden your cultural horizons and also your academic horizons, while also staying on track with your studies. If you study a languages degree, you would have an additional year in your third year, and this would be a 3 year, so it would be a 5-year degree. But if you're doing any other subject, the exchange would be integrated into your original degree structure. So if you're doing a 4-year degree, the exchange year would just replace the third year. And there's a lot of different places that you can go on exchange. So these include institutions across places like Australia, Azerbaijan, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, and the United States. And that's just a small number of the countries that we send to. We have over 200 partners globally. We know it can be quite overwhelming to figure out where you might be able to go on exchange, and some of it is dependent on your degree programme. So we've tried to make it quite easy for you, and you can use our online destination tool to enter your degree subject and see what partners are kind of currently available to you around the world. So it's a great first step to exploring the options that are available now before you come to Glasgow. So whether you're looking to kind of explore a new culture or develop career boosting skills, or basically just kind of challenge yourself in a kind of new environment, then it's likely there's going to be like a global opportunity experience that kind of fits your goals.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Mark. So now moving on to Caitlyn and Sam, who have both previously studied abroad. So it was going to be fantastic to hear more about you guys' experiences. So we'll start with Caitlyn. We'll come to you first. Can you tell us a little bit about your time abroad?
Yeah, of course. So I did my full year abroad to McGill University in Montreal, Canada last academic year. It was such a great experience. I absolutely loved it. It was a bit scary going into it. You're in a very new situation. It is a bit like your first year when you start and you don't really know very many people. But just the same as first year, you just have to make sure you say yes to all the new experiences and make as much effort as you can to meet new people and see new things. It is quite nerve-wracking, but everyone's in the same position as you and they also just want to make friends and see new things. The uni itself was quite different in terms of workload. So we had a lot more smaller assessments with lower weighting than you would typically have at Glasgow. And there's also a big emphasis on participation, which you don't really get at Glasgow either. So I was a bit nervous that I wouldn't be able to keep up with everything when I started, but you just kind of have to make the use of the resources you have available to you. So all the readings, even your professors, they really want to help and they were there to support me throughout the whole thing. So it did take a bit of getting used to, but by midterms of semester one, it was felt completely normal and it didn't affect my grades at all. And honestly, my grades at McGill were better than they are here. I think my favorite thing about my year abroad was how much you get to experience. So it's completely new and it is scary, but you get to learn so much about your host city, your host university, your host region, host country. You get to see so many new things. These pictures are all places I went to see outside of Montreal. So I got to go travel around Canada to America and to Mexico. So it was honestly just such a great experience and I'd recommend it to anyone.
Thank you so much, Caitlyn. Those are absolutely brilliant pictures. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experience there. It sounds so exciting to do the year abroad. If we can move on to Sam, if you could tell us a little bit about your experiences about studying abroad too.
Thanks. So I did a semester abroad at the University of Hong Kong, and just echoing what Caitlyn said earlier, starting at a new university is kind of nerve-wracking a little bit, but I managed to get a place in Star Hall, which is where I stayed. It's a student hall, which is conveniently just 5 minutes walk away from the university. And staying in Star Hall ended up being one of my favorite things actually about studying at HKU, because I'm a home student at Glasgow and living with other students was a completely different experience. So I remember 2 weeks into the semester, Hong Kong was hit by one of the biggest typhoons ever and all classes were cancelled. But so everyone was asked to stay inside and I didn't buy any food beforehand. And my homies shared some of their food with me, which felt really cozy. And I feel like I immediately adapted to the culture over there. And in terms of adapting to the new university on the academic side, I think the way HKU operated was really similar to Glasgow. They sent us a lot of email communications prior to the start of the semester, and they included a list of common mobile apps to download, which really helped in my day-to-day life in Hong Kong. And in terms of course enrollment, it was pretty much the same as Glasgow. Their systems are really similar as the layout as my campus. And the only difference is that there's an extra step where the school would approve or reject your course choices. And one of the advantages of being an exchange student is that you actually get to pick courses before the ad-drop period opens, but you just need to make sure that you're picking the right courses, such as, courses that are reserved for some faculty level exchange students. If you pick those, then you need to wait until the ad-drop period before you can pick your new courses again. And in comparing coursework, HKU was a little bit more coursework heavy compared to Glasgow, but there was also less reading to do in HKU, which meant that time commitment per course was probably similar. And more assignments just means there's more deadlines to meet, but workload-wise, probably the same. And I totally enjoyed my experience at the University of Hong Kong.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Sam. And it's really interesting hearing about the differences between the actual universities, even though you're sort of studying the same course in both universities, to hear the difference in the way it's kind of structured and things. So that's really great. Thank you so much. Okay, so Mark, we'll return to you now. So we get a lot of questions through asking if studying abroad is really expensive. Can you let us know if there are any extra fees involved?
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, I think it's a really important question, and it's something that lots of students are asking now about the kind of affordability to go on exchange. But I think at Glasgow, it's a lot more financially accessible than you might think. So firstly, you don't pay tuition fees to the host university while you're on exchange. Instead, you continue to pay your normal tuition to the University of Glasgow, or the normal structure you have. So if you are a Scottish domicile student, then your tuition would be free. But if you were from, say, England, Wales, or Northern Ireland, or abroad, you would be spending, your fee would be £1,430 for the year, rather than the usual £9,535, which is obviously a big difference and helps make it affordable. Additionally, when you go on exchange, there's some opportunities to get funding, like through the tutoring scheme, or some go abroad scholarships that we also have available for students. So there's sometimes financial support that you can apply for that can help you on exchange as well. The only kind of small costs that would, other than general living costs, that would be applicable to students when they're abroad, is sometimes you would have things like mandatory health insurance, for example, if you were going to the USA, or maybe some administrative fees, which would be very small in comparison to actual tuition fees.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And it's great to hear that it is a lot more financially accessible than sort of maybe a lot of people might think. So yeah, it's a really great opportunity, sort of regardless of the tuition fees. So again, going to you, Mark, for those watching that might feel like studying abroad for a full year might be a bit too long for them, are there other opportunities for a shorter amount of time for global experiences?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of opportunities. In fact, recently at Glasgow, in Global Opportunities, we just introduced a new team called the Short-Term Mobility Team. And it's their responsibility to look for short-term mobilities that take place over summer rather than the traditional semester or full year exchange. So these include things like summer schools and summer internships and volunteering placements. All of them have been designed to give you a kind of meaningful international experience in a shorter time frame. There's also some opportunities that are maybe more affordable than going abroad for a semester or a full year. So we often offer fee-waived summer schools, for example, at UESTC in China and Radboud in the Netherlands. We also have programs with Mainz and Tübingen summer schools, and they tend to have lower tuition fees as well, lower program fees.
Okay, I think we're just having
a kind of shift to short-term mobility, and with the new team in place, the opportunities are just going to expand year on year. And yeah, I should also say that you can do a short-term opportunity on top of going on an exchange for a full year or a semester, so it's not something that is exclusive. You could do short-term opportunities every summer if you wanted throughout the period of your exchange. So yeah, definitely something to look into, and definitely something that a lot of students use as a taster before going into a longer exchange experience.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Mark. And I think it is really important to remember that the University of Glasgow is such a global university with so many opportunities. So yeah, if the full year isn't for you, it's good to know that there are so many more sort of global opportunities that the university offers for students. So for the final question, we're going to go back to our our lovely student ambassadors, Caitlyn and Sam. So would you recommend studying abroad to those tuning in today? So we'll start with Sam. Would you recommend study abroad?
Well, I would definitely recommend studying abroad. I've had such a good experience, and I would say that if you're already here at the Q&A session today, you've already taken the first step into thinking about studying abroad. And studying abroad is a really good way to expand your global network. Not only do you get to know other local students studying at your study abroad destination, you also get to meet other exchange students from elsewhere in the world. And if you're looking to maybe work outside of the UK after you graduate, doing an exchange year or a semester is a perfect way to make those connections early on and explore a bit in that country before you settle in with your full-time job there. And besides that, studying abroad is a great way to show employers your adaptation skills. A lot of employers nowadays look for candidates to show that they can adapt to different situations and environments. And I find that in a lot of interviews that I've done, when I get asked those kinds of questions, I always mention about my semester abroad at the University of Hong Kong and how I managed to adapt in a way that there is a more assignment-heavy study style and how there's a different culture that I had to adapt to when studying there. And one of the biggest things that pushed me into doing a semester abroad at HKU is that studying abroad is probably a once-in-a-lifetime experience for most people, since studying abroad is only available in third year for most four-year undergrad degree programs. So why not take the chance to explore the most of your degree program?
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Sam. And I love that you mentioned the employability factor as well. I think, you know, in this kind of job market, people are looking for anything which kind of makes them stand out a bit more. And it really does kind of show the transferable skills, the fact that you did your kind of study abroad. So thank you so much for that. And again, Caitlyn, would you recommend study abroad?
Definitely. I think it was such a good year for me. I completely agree with all the stuff that Sam said. I think everything that he mentioned has been true for me too. I think also studying abroad in general is one of the most supported ways you can take time to live abroad. You get all the support from UofG, from your host university. I still got my student finance. I was lucky to get extra funding from the business school, which is available from a few different colleges and schools. You're supported in the visa process, and if you end up not loving it, which I don't know anyone who didn't, you know that you're coming back to Glasgow and you're coming back to somewhere you know, and all your friends still here. For me, studying at McGill was a great chance for me to study courses that aren't offered at Glasgow, which has really helped me in terms of figuring out what I want to do after uni. Montreal itself was beautiful. I love being able to settle in properly and be more than a tourist. You meet so many amazing people. You make great friends who live across the whole world, and you can go and visit them after. But I think the main reason I would recommend studying abroad is because it's made me a more confident, more independent person. It's given me the confidence to know that I can do these kind of scary things. Like applying to go abroad in itself was nerve-wracking, but getting there, being able to adapt to the uni, to the new social life, the new city, showed me that I could do more than I thought I could. So overall, like, my year abroad was just such a great experience, and I would really recommend it to anyone who's thinking of going.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Caitlyn. Okay, so that is all that we have time for today, but we do hope that you all found it very useful. So I want to say a huge thank you to our wonderful panel, and it's been great to hear more about all of the exciting global opportunities available to our undergraduate students. So I'm going to say bye for now. The chat will be open for another sort of 10 minutes. And it is our lovely panelists that will be answering the questions. So if you've got any more questions, just put them in the chat. But yeah, bye for now, and we hope to be welcoming you to Team UofG in the not too distant future. So thank you.